Hello guys, welcome back to TFD. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, and hit that bell notification as always. Let's go. Alright you guys, the WNBA right now is walking a very fine line. It's dangerous waters out there, sharks circling, waiting to see what happens next. Reality is starting to set in, and the postseason could reveal even more cracks. Without Caitlin Clark, things are shaky. We're talking about ratings that could absolutely nosedive during these playoffs. The networks are keeping a close watch, and fans are noticing too. Ticket prices already dropped by nearly 30% the moment Caitlin Clark was sidelined with that injury. So let's not waste any time. Let's dive straight into everything that's unfolding right now. What do we have here? Okay, now listen. This is straight from NBA Central. Not Central. Don't get it twisted. I double-checked because, hey, they get tricky out there on the internet. And I know some of y'all done been fooled before. But no, this one is legit. NBA Central. It says right here, before Caitlin Clark's season-ending injury, WNBA ticket prices were averaging about $89 a seat, according to TickPick. The moment she went down, boom, prices crashed nearly 30%, dropping all the way to $62 a seat. Now, let's be real, Caitlin Clark tickets were like gold. Didn't matter if she was playing in LA, Indiana, Atlanta, Seattle. Heck, she could have been playing on the moon. It was still selling out. People were scrambling just to get in the building. And y'all remember Iowa, right? The crowd she pulled in there could have filled up a football stadium. I'm talking Super Bowl level demand. That's just how big the Caitlin Clark effect really is. Let's take a real close look at what's happening with the WNBA ratings right now, because this is starting to get scary for the league as we head deeper into the playoffs. Caitlin Clark's playoff debut averaged 1.8 million viewers. Let that sink in. 1.8 million. And this is during the NFL season. Let's keep it real here. NFL is king. Not the NBA, not MLB, no. The NFL runs everything. And Caitlin Clark still pulled 1.8 million in her very first playoff game. Now here's where it gets wild. Her debut outdrew all the other WNBA playoff games combined. Read that again. Combined. You take 300,000 here, 400,000 there, maybe another 300,000, and it still doesn't touch Caitlin Clark's 1.8 million. That's off the strength of her star power alone. If that's not the definition of being the main attraction, I don't know what is. Seattle versus Las Vegas, featuring Aya Wilson, did 461,000. Atlanta versus New York, with Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart, 410,000. Phoenix versus Minnesota, that had MVP Nafisa Collier, and it did 43,000. Meanwhile, Indiana with Caitlin Clark, 1.8 million. And here's the kicker. The Fever game wasn't even close. It was a blowout. People still tuned in and stayed locked in. That's the harsh reality right now. Without Caitlin Clark, none of these games are sniffing 1 million viewers. Not even close. Maybe the Fever could come somewhat near, but nobody's cracking 1.8 million without her. So what does that tell you? The WNBA has a massive problem on its hands. Networks are worried. Advertisers are watching closely. And with a new CBA coming, the players better be ready to prove their worth, because ratings are the currency. If you say you're a star, the numbers have to reflect that. Right now, all eyes are on Caitlin Clark. She's carrying the league's viewership, and without her, the WNBA is shaking in its boots. Kathy Engelbert, the reality is here. And it's not going anywhere. Let's take a look at the article here. This is absolutely crazy. The WNBA right now is facing something that should have been expected. But honestly, I don't think they were ready for how bad it was going to look. The league is extremely concerned about playoff ratings and about how everything is going to shape up without Caitlin Clark being healthy. And we're going to break it down because the numbers do not lie. Remember this. Caitlin Clark's very first playoff game did 1.88 million viewers. Let me repeat that. 1.88 million people tuned in. That was more than every other playoff game combined. One rookie player, carrying the entire league on her back. You don't need a calculator to see what that means. It means the league is living and dying off one player's shoulders. And now, here comes the reality check. The article says it point blank. Caitlin Clark's season-ending injury exposes a harsh reality for the WNBA. That right there is the truth nobody wants to say out loud, but the numbers are saying it for them. Clark had an incredibly frustrating 2025 campaign with the Indiana Fever. She was battling injuries all year long. Started off with a quad injury, then dealt with 2 separate groin injuries. And the second one, that came in mid-June, right before the All-Star break. The All-Star break, by the way, was set to be one of the league's biggest events ever. Why? Because it was hosted in Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Clark's backyard, and she was expected to be the star attraction. But she couldn't play. And that changed everything. Now, with the Fever's regular season ending on Tuesday night and the WNBA regular season as a whole wrapping up in the coming days, the harsh truth is hitting social media hard. People are realizing Clark isn't just a star player. She is the economy of the league. She is the headline. She is the storyline. She is the reason people are tuning in, buying tickets, and talking about the WNBA in the first place. Here's where it gets wicked, y'all. According to TickPick, before Clark's season-ending injury, the average ticket price for a WNBA game was $89. After her injury, that number dropped like a rock, down 30% to just $62 per ticket. That is a massive fall-off. And keep this in mind, that injury only happened less than 2 months ago. You don't see that kind of economic shift from one single player unless that player is literally carrying the brand. Fans noticed it too. Social media lit up with reactions. One person said the league is simply unwatchable without her. Another asked the question straight up. Did her injury deflate ticket prices, or did it just prove she's the entire league's economy? Somebody else said, honestly, I'm surprised the drop wasn't bigger. I would have guessed at least 50%. And the best comment? You don't have to like her, but you cannot deny it. Caitlin Clark is the headline. She puts butts in the seats. That right there says it all. Let's not forget who we're talking about. Clark wrapped up one of the most historic college careers we've ever seen, not just in women's basketball, but in sports, period. At Iowa, she led her team to back-to-back national championship games. She became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA Division I history. That's men's and women's. That's the kind of greatness you can't ignore. And when the Indiana Fever drafted her #1 overall, that was the moment the WNBA changed forever. Since then, the league has exploded. Ticket sales, TV viewership, merchandise, everything has gone up. The Clark effect is not just a saying, it's a measurable fact. The WNBA has set record-breaking viewership marks 2 years in a row now, all because of her. When she's healthy, the league thrives. When she's not, we see exactly what happens. Ticket sales collapse, ratings fall, the buzz disappears. Now, don't get it twisted. Even after her injury, ticket prices are still higher than they were 2, 3, 4 years ago. That's how much she's raised the baseline. But the contrast is glaring. It's night and day. You can see the numbers move in real time depending on if Clark is on the court or not. That tells you everything you need to know about her value. This is why people are calling the Indiana Fever America's team, right now. The Fever are no longer just another WNBA franchise. They're the epicenter of the league. They are the team casual fans follow. They're the team networks want on prime time. And it's all because of Clark. She doesn't just play the game, she transforms it. But here's the part that should have the WNBA's leadership sweating. If your entire business model relies on one player staying healthy, that's not sustainable. That's not growth. That's dependency. And right now, that dependency is being exposed in the worst way. Clark will recover. She will come back. And when she does, the fans, the cameras, and the ticket money will come flooding back too. But the question is, what happens if she doesn't? What happens if injuries keep piling up? What happens if she decides one day she doesn't need to carry an entire league on her back? That's the reality the WNBA has to face. Because like it or not, Caitlin Clark isn't just the face of the Fever. She's the face of the WNBA. And until the league figures out how to build more stars, more storylines, and more reasons for people to watch, this roller coaster of ratings and ticket sales is going to keep happening. America's team? Yeah, it's the Fever. But really, it's Caitlin Clark.